The handcuffs clicked shut at 5:42 a.m. on September 17, 2025, exactly 2 years after Zoe Chen, the 26-year-old tech entrepreneur and lifestyle influencer with 3.2 million TikTok followers, vanished from her luxury San Francisco apartment. When FBI agents led away 34-year-old Marcus Rivera, the celebrated AI developer and Zoe's former business partner, the collective gasp could be heard from Silicon Valley startups to the marble halls of venture capital firms that had once courted them both. Marcus wasn't just another tech professional. He was the co-founder of MindLink AI, the revolutionary app that had made Zoe famous, and the brilliant programmer whose algorithms had turned her casual lifestyle content into viral sensations. He was also the man who had organized the search teams when Zoe disappeared, who had offered a $500,000 reward for information about her whereabouts, and who had tearfully pleaded for her safe return on national television. But as the FBI would reveal in the devastating court documents that followed, Marcus Rivera had been hiding the most calculating secret in Silicon Valley's history. Zoe Chen was everything the digital age celebrated. Breathtakingly beautiful with flowing black hair and warm brown eyes, technically brilliant with degrees from both Stanford and MIT, and charismatic enough to turn complex AI concepts into content that captivated millions. At 26, she had built a media empire that bridged the gap between technology education and lifestyle entertainment. Zoe wasn't just another influencer. She was a legitimate entrepreneur who had co-founded MindLink AI with Marcus Rivera in 2021, developing an artificial intelligence platform that analyzed user behavior to create personalized content recommendations. Their app had revolutionized how creators connected with audiences, and Zoe had become its most successful showcase. Her TikTok account at Zoe Chen featured everything from AI in 60 seconds explainers to day in the life of a female CEO vlogs. She made machine learning accessible to teenagers while discussing venture capital funding with the same ease she reviewed skincare products. Forbes had named her one of 30 under 30 in both technology and media categories. But Zoe was more than her online persona. Friends described her as fiercely loyal, intellectually curious, and genuinely passionate about using technology to democratize education. She donated coding bootcamp scholarships, mentored young women in STEM, and regularly spoke at conferences about diversity in tech. On the night she vanished, September 17, 2023, Zoe had been preparing for MindLink's Series B funding round, a $50 million investment that would have made her one of the youngest female tech CEOs to reach unicorn status. She had scheduled a celebration livestream for the following morning, where she planned to announce the funding and reveal MindLink's expansion plans. Zoe's assistant, Jennifer Park, was the last person to see her in person. Jennifer had stopped by Zoe's Nob Hill apartment at 8:30 p.m. to deliver documents for the funding announcement. She later told investigators that Zoe seemed excited but stressed about the upcoming milestone. She kept saying this funding round would change everything, Jennifer recalled. She was proud of what she'd built, but she also seemed nervous about something. When I asked what was wrong, she said she was worried about maintaining control of her own creation. Security footage from Zoe's building showed her entering the elevator alone at 9:47 p.m., returning from dinner with potential investors. She was wearing her signature style, a tailored blazer over designer jeans, her hair in the sleek bob that had become her trademark. She carried her laptop bag and phone, both of which would become crucial evidence in the investigation. The footage showed Zoe entering her apartment at 9:52 p.m. She never left the building again. When Zoe failed to appear for her scheduled live stream the following morning, her millions of followers initially assumed technical difficulties. But when Jennifer arrived at the apartment to check on her and found the door unlocked and the apartment empty, panic spread through both Silicon Valley and social media. Marcus Rivera was among the first people Jennifer called. As Zoe's business partner and the technical architect behind MindLink, he had been working closely with her on the funding presentation. He arrived at the apartment within minutes, appearing genuinely distraught and immediately calling 911. Marcus seemed devastated. Detective Sarah Williams recalled years later. He kept asking if we thought Zoe had been kidnapped, if someone in the tech industry might have targeted her because of MindLink's success. He was crying, pacing, offering to do anything to help find her. The The San Francisco Police Department treated Zoe's disappearance as a priority case from the moment it was reported. The combination of her high profile, her connection to valuable intellectual property, and the complete lack of evidence suggesting she had left voluntarily made kidnapping seem like the most likely scenario. The initial investigation revealed several troubling facts. Zoe's phone and laptop were missing, but there were no signs of forced entry or struggle in her apartment. Her bed hadn't been slept in, but her evening skincare routine appeared to have been completed. Products were out on her bathroom counter, suggesting she had been preparing for bed when something interrupted her. Most puzzling was the state of Zoe's home office. Her desktop computer was still on, with multiple browser tabs open showing research about corporate governance and founder rights. Several legal documents were scattered across her desk, including contracts related to the Series B funding that she had apparently been reviewing. The investigation expanded rapidly as FBI agents joined the case, recognizing that Zoe's disappearance could involve corporate espionage, international kidnapping, or threats related to MindLink's valuable AI technology. They interviewed everyone in Zoe's professional and personal circles, from venture capitalists to content creator friends. Marcus Rivera was questioned extensively as both a business partner and potential witness. He provided detailed information about Zoe's recent activities, her state of mind regarding the funding round, and any potential threats she might have faced. His cooperation seemed complete and his emotional distress appeared genuine. Marcus told investigators that he and Zoe had been working late nights preparing for the Series B announcement. He claimed their partnership had been stronger than ever, with both of them excited about MindLink's future. When asked about potential conflicts, he admitted there had been some minor disagreements about the company's direction, but nothing that would cause serious problems. The digital forensics analysis of Zoe's online presence revealed no obvious threats or concerning interactions. Her social media accounts showed normal activity up until the day of her disappearance. Her business communications appeared routine, focused on the funding round and upcoming product launches. But investigators discovered something troubling in MindLink's corporate structure. The company's ownership agreements contained clauses that would transfer Zoe's shares to Marcus in the event of her death or permanent incapacitation. While such provisions weren't unusual in startup partnerships, they gave Marcus a significant financial motive if Zoe were to disappear permanently. The search for Zoe expanded across the Bay Area and beyond. Volunteers combed hiking trails, beaches, and remote areas where someone might dispose of evidence. Tech companies shared information about potential threats from competitors or foreign governments interested in AI technology. Social media campaigns organized by Zoe's followers generated millions of impressions and thousands of tips. Marcus Rivera became the public face of the search effort. He appeared on news programs, organized reward fundraisers, and used his own social media platforms to keep Zoe's case in the spotlight. His emotional appeals for her safe return garnered sympathy from the tech community and millions of online followers. But as months passed with no credible leads, the case began to go cold. The FBI maintained an active investigation, but without concrete evidence of foul play or viable suspects, progress stalled. Zoe's family hired private investigators, offered additional rewards, and continued advocating for media attention. The case officially entered cold case status in early 2024, though investigators never stopped working on it entirely. The mystery of Zoe's disappearance became a fixture of true crime podcasts and online discussion forums, with amateur detectives analyzing every detail of her final days. Special Agent Lisa Martinez joined the FBI's cold case unit in late 2024, bringing fresh eyes and advanced investigative techniques to unsolved disappearances. Martinez specialized in cases involving digital evidence and had extensive experience with crimes connected to technology industries. Martinez's review of the Zoe Chen case began in January 2025, focusing on digital evidence that might not have been fully analyzed using the most current forensic methods. She was particularly interested in the timeline of Zoe's final evening and the possibility that digital communications might reveal information not immediately apparent in 2023. Using advanced data recovery techniques, Martinez was able to extract information from Zoe's cloud storage accounts that had been partially corrupted during the original investigation. What she found there would crack the case wide open. Hidden in Zoe's encrypted backup files were voice memos she had recorded in the weeks before her disappearance. The recordings revealed that Zoe had discovered something disturbing about Marcus's management of MindLink's technology and finances. According to the voice memos, Zoe had learned that Marcus had been secretly licensing MindLink's AI algorithms to foreign companies without board approval or proper disclosure. More damaging, he had been using the company's user data for unauthorized purposes, potentially violating privacy laws and the terms of service that users had agreed to. "I can't believe Marcus would do this to our users, to everything we've built," Zoe said in one recording dated September 10, 2023. "The contracts I found show he's been selling our AI models to companies that use them for surveillance and manipulation. This isn't what we created MindLink for." The recordings revealed that Zoe had confronted Marcus about her discoveries and threatened to expose his activities to investors and regulators. She had been preparing to remove him from the company and potentially pursue criminal charges for fraud and privacy violations. "He keeps saying we can work it out, that I'm overreacting," Zoe recorded on September 15th. "But I can't be complicit in betraying our users' trust. If he won't stop, I'll have to go public. MindLink's reputation and our users' privacy are more important than our partnership." The final recording was made on September 17th, just hours before Zoe disappeared. "Marcus is coming over tonight to discuss what he calls a resolution. I've made copies of all the evidence and stored them securely. If something happens to me, I hope someone finds this and knows that I tried to do the right thing." Armed with this explosive new evidence, Martinez obtained warrants to search Marcus Rivera's personal and corporate communications. What she found confirmed Zoe's allegations and revealed the extent of Marcus's deception. Marcus had indeed been secretly licensing MindLink's technology to companies involved in surveillance, political manipulation, and data harvesting. The unauthorized deals had generated millions in revenue that he had hidden from Zoe and their investors. More disturbing, he had been using MindLink's platform to collect user data far beyond what was disclosed in privacy policies. The financial analysis revealed that the Series B funding round would have required full disclosure of MindLink's activities, inevitably exposing Marcus's unauthorized deals and potentially resulting in criminal charges. Zoe's threat to report him had put his entire scheme at risk. But the most damning evidence came from Marcus's own digital communications. Encrypted messages on his personal devices showed that he had been planning to eliminate Zoe as a business partner for months before her disappearance. "She's becoming a problem," Marcus had written to an encrypted contact in August 2023. "Too idealistic. Doesn't understand that success requires compromise. May need permanent solution." The messages revealed a relationship with individuals who specialized in making people disappear, corporate problem solvers who operated in the gray areas between legitimate business and criminal activity. Marcus had apparently contacted these individuals about resolving his partnership issues in a way that would look like an accident or voluntary disappearance. Confronted with this overwhelming evidence, Marcus initially maintained his innocence and claimed the messages had been fabricated. But as additional digital forensics revealed the authenticity of the communications and financial records confirmed his unauthorized activities, his story began to change. The confession came during Marcus's third interrogation session with Agent Martinez and San Francisco police detectives. After 2 years of living with his secret, Marcus Rivera finally revealed what had happened to Zoe Chen on September 17, 2023. According to Marcus's confession, he had arranged to meet with Zoe that evening under the pretense of negotiating a resolution to their conflict. He claimed he had only intended to convince her to remain silent about his activities in exchange for a larger share of the company's profits. But when Zoe refused his offers and reiterated her intention to expose him, Marcus panicked. He admitted to drugging her drink with a substance that would cause unconsciousness, planning to make her disappearance look like a voluntary departure from the tech industry. Marcus confessed to disposing of Zoe's body in a remote area of the Santa Cruz Mountains, where it had never been recovered despite extensive searches. He had spent the early morning hours of September 18th eliminating evidence from her apartment and creating the appearance that she had left voluntarily. The confession explained the meticulous planning that had allowed Marcus to avoid suspicion for 2 years. His position as Zoe's business partner had given him intimate knowledge of her routines and access to her apartment. His public participation in the search efforts had been calculated to monitor the investigation and maintain his image as a grieving partner. Most chilling was Marcus's admission that he had continued operating MindLink after Zoe's disappearance, using her presumed death to gain full control of the company and its valuable technology. He had presented himself as continuing her legacy while actually expanding the very activities she had died trying to stop. The arrest of Marcus Rivera sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley that reverberated from venture capital offices to university campuses where aspiring entrepreneurs studied. For 2 years, the tech community had mourned Zoe Chen as a brilliant innovator whose disappearance represented the vulnerability of women in male-dominated industries. The revelation that she had been murdered by her most trusted business partner, a man who had built his reputation on her success while hiding activities that betrayed everything she stood for, shattered the community's sense of security and trust. Zoe's parents, David and Linda Chen, now in their 60s, finally had answers to the questions that had tormented them for over 2 years. But the truth brought a devastating realization about how completely they had been deceived. "We trusted Marcus like family," Linda Chen said at the press conference announcing the arrest. "He sat at our dinner table, comforted us when we were grieving, promised he would never stop looking for our daughter, all while knowing exactly where she was because he had put her there." The trial of Marcus Rivera began in June 2025 and lasted 10 weeks. The prosecution, led by Assistant U.S. Attorney Jennifer Walsh, presented a methodical case built on digital evidence, financial records, encrypted communications, and Marcus's own confession. The defense team attempted to argue that the confession had been coerced and that Marcus was being framed by business competitors seeking to destroy MindLink's reputation. They portrayed him as a dedicated entrepreneur who had lost his best friend and business partner, suggesting that grief and pressure had led to false admissions. But the jury wasn't convinced by the defense arguments. The digital evidence was overwhelming, and testimony from tech industry experts painted a clear picture of systematic fraud and betrayal that had escalated to murder when exposed. After deliberating for 8 hours, the jury returned verdicts of guilty on all charges: first-degree murder, corporate fraud, privacy violations, and racketeering. The evidence showed that Marcus had not only killed Zoe but had built an entire criminal enterprise around exploiting the technology she had helped create. Judge Robert Harrison sentenced Marcus Rivera to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus additional terms for the fraud and privacy violations. At 34 years old, Marcus will spend the remainder of his life behind bars for crimes that had remained hidden for 2 years. During the sentencing hearing, several MindLink users who had been affected by Marcus's unauthorized data collection testified about the violation of their privacy and trust. Their testimony revealed the broader impact of his crimes beyond Zoe's murder. Sarah Kim, a college student whose personal data had been sold to political manipulation firms, addressed the court directly. "Zoe created MindLink to help people connect and learn. Marcus turned it into a tool for surveillance and control. She died trying to protect us from his betrayal of everything the platform was supposed to represent." The collapse of MindLink AI followed Marcus's conviction, as investors withdrew funding and users abandoned the platform en masse. The company's technology has been acquired by a non-profit organization that specializes in ethical AI development, with all profits directed towards supporting privacy rights advocacy. Zoe Chen's legacy lives on through the Zoe Chen Foundation for Ethical Technology, established by her parents to support women entrepreneurs and advocate for stronger privacy protections in the tech industry. The foundation has pushed for legislative changes requiring greater transparency in AI development and stricter oversight of user data collection. Zoe believed technology should empower people, not exploit them, David Chen said at the foundation's inaugural conference. Her death must serve as a wake-up call for an industry that has prioritized profit over principles for too long. The case has become a landmark in discussions about ethics in artificial intelligence and the responsibility of tech companies to protect user privacy. It has highlighted the vulnerability of entrepreneurs who challenge unethical practices within their own companies, and the ways that financial incentives can corrupt even the most promising technological innovations. Dr. Sarah Martinez, a technology ethicist at Stanford University, has studied the case extensively and its implications for the tech industry. The Zoe Chen case illustrates how the pursuit of rapid growth and massive profits can lead to the abandonment of ethical principles. When entrepreneurs are willing to kill their own partners to hide fraud, we must acknowledge that our industry has a fundamental problem with accountability and moral leadership. The tech industry has implemented some changes in response to Zoe's case, including stronger whistleblower protections for employees who report unethical practices and increased regulatory oversight of AI companies handling personal data. However, critics argue that these measures don't address the systemic issues that enabled Marcus's crimes to continue undetected. As of today, September 18, 2025, Marcus Rivera remains in California State Prison, where he is serving his life sentence. He has shown minimal remorse for his crimes and has refused to reveal the exact location of Zoe's remains, depriving her family of the closure that comes with laying their loved one to rest. The case serves as a stark reminder that technological innovation without ethical oversight can become a tool for exploitation and harm, that business partnerships built on shared dreams can be destroyed by greed and deception, and that the people we trust most completely may be hiding the darkest secrets. Zoe Chen was 26 years old when her life was stolen by someone who had built his career on her brilliance and success. Her dreams of using artificial intelligence to democratize education and empower creators died with her in an apartment where she should have been safe, killed by a partner who had sworn to build the future alongside her. But her memory lives on as a catalyst for change in an industry that too often prioritizes innovation over integrity. The conversations about ethical AI, user privacy, and corporate accountability that she died trying to start continue in conference rooms, classrooms, and legislative chambers around the world. The tech industry will never be the same, but it will continue to evolve toward the vision Zoe had for technology that serves humanity rather than exploiting it. And every time someone chooses transparency over profit, ethics over efficiency, they honor the memory of a brilliant young woman who paid the ultimate price for refusing to compromise her principles.